Hey everyone, it is me again, your favorite financial crash test dummy. Seriously, if there is a wrong way to invest, Ivy probably found it. And then some, I am here today to spill the beans on my glorious investment failures. Think of this as your personal guided tour through the minefield of bad financial decisions, led by someone who stepped on every single one of them. My hope is you can learn from my pain, save your hard-earned cash, and avoid the same rookie errors I gleefully committed in my early 20s. I am not some financial guru pretending to have all the answers. I am just a regular guy, 27. Now, who once thought he could outsmart the market with zero knowledge and a whole lot of misplaced confidence. Spoiler alert, I couldn't. My journey into the world of investing started with a bang. Not a good bang, more like a car crash kind of bang. You see, I came from a pretty average background. We weren't struggling. But we weren't rolling in dough either, so when I got my first proper job, I had this burning desire to make big money, fast. I wanted to escape the grind, the whole dream of early retirement and endless vacations. The problem was, I had absolutely no clue how money actually worked. I just saw headlines about people getting rich overnight, heard whispers about the next big stock, and thought, why not me? So there I was, in my early 20s, fresh-faced and foolish, diving headfirst into the deep end of the investment pool without knowing how to swim. I was hypnotized by the siren song of high returns. I genuinely believed that if an investment promised a ludicrously high percentage, it must be legit. After all, why would anyone promise something they couldn't deliver, right? Oh, sweet summer child, that was me. I chased every shiny new thing, every hot tip from anonymous internet forums, every stock that people were hyping up. It was pure emotional investing, driven by greed and a profound lack of understanding. I was the poster child for buy high, sell low. It was brutal. I remember this one time. I heard about this guaranteed short-term investment that promised astronomical returns in a matter of weeks. It sounded too good to be true. And guess what? It was. I poured a significant chunk of my savings into it, savings I had worked incredibly hard for. I dreamt of doubling my money, of finally being financially free. Instead, I watched it all vanish. Poof, gone. It was like a magic trick. But instead of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, they pulled my money out of my account and made it disappear forever. That hit me hard. It wasn't just the money. It was the feeling of being utterly duped, of my own naivety costing me so much. Then there was the whole short-term trading debacle. I thought I could be a day trader, buy low, sell high, rinse and repeat. I spent hours staring at charts, trying to predict market movements, convinced I had some kind of secret insight. I didn't. I was just gambling with extra steps. I jump into stocks that were already skyrocketing, convinced they would go even higher. Of course, they usually tank right after I bought them, and then, gripped by panic, I sell, locking in my losses. I was constantly chasing the next big thing, always a step behind, always losing. It was exhausting financially and emotionally. I can even count the number of times I lie awake at night, replaying my bad trades, wondering why I was so consistently wrong. And don't even get me started on the lack of risk management. I didn't even know what risk management was. I put all my eggs in one basket, sometimes literally pouring everything I had into a single stock or a single, highly speculative venture. There was no diversification, no thought to protecting my capital, just a blind belief that everything would go up always when things inevitably went south. And they always did. I was completely exposed. It was like playing poker with all your chips on one hand every single time, a recipe for disaster. And I followed it to the letter. My emotional trading was also a huge problem. Every dip felt like the end of the world. Every surge made me feel like a genius. I make irrational decisions based on fear or euphoria, abandoning any semblance of a plan, which, to be fair, I didn't really have anyway. The market became this emotional roller coaster, and I was strapped in without a safety bar. I bought things when I was excited, sold things when I was scared, and consistently made the worst possible moves at the worst possible times. It was a vicious cycle of hope, despair, and financial devastation. I lost a lot of sleep, a lot of hair, and a lot of money. After accumulating a rather impressive portfolio of financial scars, I finally had my wake-up call. I looked at my bank account, or what was left of it, and realized I had effectively squandered years of hard work. My hard-earned savings, the money I had planned to use for a down payment on a house, for travel, for a future. It was significantly depleted. It was a gut punch, a brutal reality check that forced me to confront my financial literacy and my reckless approach to investing. That is when I decided enough was enough. I threw out the get-rich-quick mentality and started from scratch. I began reading books, listening to reputable podcasts, and watching educational videos, not the flashy, get-rich overnight kind, but the ones that actually explained how investing works. The boring but effective stuff I learned about compound interest, diversification, risk assessment, and the importance of a long-term perspective. It was a complete overhaul of my financial mindset. Now, my approach is completely different. I am all about steady, low-risk growth. I've embraced the power of consistent, incremental investing. I prioritize saving, building an emergency fund, and putting my money into broadly diversified low-cost index funds or ETFs. It is not exciting, it is not glamorous, but it is effective. It is the tortoise winning the race, not the hare that sprints and then collapses. So here's the current snapshot of my investment strategy. It is not perfect, but it is grounded in reality and a whole lot of lessons learned the hard way. First, I contribute to my 401k through work. It is the easiest, most brain dead way to start investing, especially if your employer offers a match. That is essentially free money, and who says no to free money? Not me. Currently, 8% of my paycheck goes into that. Pre-tax, my company matches 6%. So I am getting a nice boost there. For anyone starting out, maxing out your employer match on a 401k should be your absolute first step. It is a no-brainer. Next, I put $125 into the stock market each week, specifically into a Vanguard SP500 ETF ticker symbol, VO. This is basically investing in the 500 largest companies in America. It is diversified, it is low cost, and historically, it consistently goes up over the long term. I am not trying to pick the next Apple. I am just betting on the overall growth of the American economy, and that is a much safer bet. This is where I aim for broad market exposure and consistent growth. I don't check it daily, I don't obsess over short-term fluctuations, I just let it do its thing. Then there is my small, somewhat controversial dabble in Bitcoin. I put $45 into Bitcoin every week. I believe in its long-term potential, and as a younger guy, I can tolerate the volatility. I am not chasing meme coins or trying to day trade crypto. It is a small percentage of my overall investments, a speculative bet that I am comfortable losing if it all goes to zero. But if it goes to the moon, well, that would be nice too. The key here is not to bet the farm on it, just a small, consistent amount that fits within my risk tolerance. I buy it consistently, rain or shine, and don't try to time the market. Finally, 10% of my paycheck goes into a high-yield savings account right now. It is earning about 3.8% APY. This isn't about getting rich, it is about not losing money to inflation. When your money just sits in a regular savings account, it is slowly losing purchasing power because prices are always going up. A high-yield savings account helps offset some of that. It is my emergency fund, my short-term savings, and a place where my money can at least try to keep up with the cost of living. It is not exciting, but it is crucial for financial stability. So, if you crunch the numbers, I am currently investing about 51% of my income. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, 51%. How is that even possible? And you are right. I am in a somewhat unique position. I don't pay rent. I still live with my parents. That is a huge privilege, and it frees up a significant amount of my income that most people my age don't have. I am not going to pretend otherwise. However, I do pay for my car, my phone, groceries, gas, and all my other living expenses. So, while I have a massive advantage on the rent front, I still have to manage my money carefully. Even without that advantage, I firmly believe it is still possible to invest, even if it is just a small amount for anyone who wants to start investing. Here's my advice distilled from years of making every mistake in the book. First, get a clear picture of your finances. Write down all your monthly expenses, your needs, and your wants. Don't create a super strict budget if that is not your thing. Just understand where your money is going. After covering your necessities and your wants, see how much you have left over. That surplus is your investment potential once you have that number, even if it is small. Start investing a low amount consistently. This is called dollar cost averaging. Instead of trying to time the market, you just consistently buy whether the market is up or down. This averages out your purchase price over time and takes the emotional guesswork out of it. You can do it daily, weekly, or monthly, whatever works for you. The key is consistency. Even $5 a day or $25 a week adds up significantly over time. And here is the game changer. Automate everything. This is probably the single best piece of advice I can give. Automate your contributions to your 401k, your stock market investments, your Bitcoin purchases, and your high-yield savings. Set it and forget it. For me, the mental battle of seeing money leave my account was real. It felt like I was spending money. Even though I was investing it, by automating it, that money is moved before I even see it in my checking account. It is out of sight, out of mind, and it forces me to live off what is left. I have my paycheck split, so a portion goes directly to my investments and savings before it even hits my main checking account. It removes the temptation to spend it and the opportunity to talk myself out of investing. My mindset now is focused on the long game. I am not expecting to be a millionaire overnight or even in the next 5 years. I've been working part-time for the past 3 years, and finding a full-time data analytics job in this market has been tough. I've got a strong resume. I've interviewed a lot, but it is a grind, so I don't go into investing with the delusion that it will make me rich quickly. I go into it with the understanding that I am building wealth slowly, steadily for the future. The truth is, investing is a long-term game. It is about patience and discipline. Don't fall for the hype of instant riches. Those stories are usually fiction, or at best extreme outliers. If you can invest even $1 a week, start there. The point isn't the amount, it is building the habit and the mindset. If you start now, even with a tiny amount, You develop the discipline and understanding that will serve you well when you eventually have more money to invest. Imagine having that investing mindset already in place when you land that high-paying job. You be miles ahead. So, to wrap it all up, I am 27 working part-time and currently investing about 51% of my income. 8% goes to my 401k. $125 a week into the SP 500 through VO, $45 a week into Bitcoin, and 10% of my paycheck into a high-yield savings account. This isn't financial advice. It is just my journey, my mistakes, and my current strategy shared transparently. My hope is that seeing how an average person with an average income approaches investing can give you some perspective and encouragement. If I can do it after all my screw-ups, you can too. Let me know if you have any questions or want to hear more about specific aspects of my financial journey. Have a good day.